And we are back. RadioOnFire.com. Yours truly, Don McKay, in here. Thank you for joining me. Of course, broadcasting from the Radio on Fire studios here in Baltimore, Maryland. And a lot of things I want to talk about today. A lot of things I want to get into. Of course, no surprise. Queen Radio, Nicki Minaj, celebrating a anniversary of sorts. The release 1 year ago of her album called Queen, the debut of her show called Queen Radio. And she did a surprising move to me, which was invite Joe Budden and his crew to the show. Nikki also in the building, producing the show. How you doing?
Hey.
You good?
I'm good.
You know Nicki Minaj is the best female rapper, correct?
No.
You don't know that? You don't listen to a lot of rap music,
is nice.
So is that what it is?
So you trying to say I don't have a point?
I'm asking you, why do you? Who's the best female rapper of all time?
Of all time?
Of all time.
Well, I would have to really think about that to give an honest answer.
Yeah.
That's not usually something I think about.
Okay.
But, Nicki is nice. She got skills. I'm not taking anything away from Nicki.
Okay.
She's straight.
Would you say she is one of the nicest female rappers ever?
Yes, absolutely. I like a lot of her songs.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's good. Now, did you ever listen to the Queen album?
Not all of it.
Okay.
Maybe here and there.
Here and there.
Right.
Okay. It wasn't her best album, but it's all good. Okay. So, have you ever listened to Queen Radio with her talking on her show?
I get snippets.
Yeah.
Like YouTube snippets. Not actually listen to it on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Or
She does a show like once a month, something like that. So she does.
Okay.
She doesn't do it like all the time.
Right.
And so Joe Budden, what are your thoughts on the former rapper, radio host, media personality Joe Budden?
Joe Budden can be an asshole. Like he is not my favorite person. It's like, really, yo, did you say that? Like, yeah, I don't.
So you're a big fan of the Love and Hip Hop franchise,
I am.
He was once on Love and Hip Hop New York. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Did you watch Joe Budden any of his program stuff on Love and Hip Hop New York?
No, I watched every episode.
Okay. So who was his love interest?
He had
Couple
more
of
than
them.
one. I'm like, which one? Are you talking about Tahiri? Are you talking about Sin?
Yeah.
Are you talking about? I mean, actually, he did a good job on it. There weren't that many though.
When you say wasn't that many, he wasn't no Stevie J.
Yeah. Oh no, I won't put that on him. I won't. Honestly, he was dealing with his own demons on that show, and it was really more so about Tahiri and then Sin. It wasn't a lot of women in between that. Well, that we saw anyway, that they showed on.
Yeah. So watching him on Love and Hip Hop New York, did it make you like him? Did it make you not like him? Like, as far as his personality, like, most people don't like Stevie J. Right. Most people don't like Peter Guns. Right.
Oh, Peter Guns. Oh, right. Oh my God.
How'd you feel about Joe Budden? Because I'm something tells me that you did not know a lot about Joe Budden prior to him being on Love and Hip Hop.
You would be correct in saying that. After seeing him on that show, okay, I want to say 80% of the time I didn't like him, but there may have been 10% where I was like, oh, he's sweet. It's like he give you a little bit and then he take it back. Like he'd say things and I'd be like, did he really just say that to her? But these women are still dealing with him. Like, yeah. So I had mixed emotions about Joe Budden, but 80% of the time I didn't care for him.
The stuff that he said out his mouth, as far as, do you think that he should have been, because he proposed to Tahiri, right?
Yes, he did.
She did not accept.
No, she didn't.
She publicly embarrassed him.
Yeah, I felt bad for him. Yeah, I mean, nobody deserves that. Honestly, this is
you're supposed to know the answer before you before you do that kind of stuff.
But he probably thought that she was going to say yes, because she was all about that. I want to be with you, and and she was all about that. So I would have. I was surprised. I was very surprised. Yeah. And how would a guy know before?
I mean, you got a general feeling.
Really?
Yeah, I would like to think. You know what I mean? I would like to think that you do.
So you put feelers out, like
you definitely should. So, you shouldn't be totally shocked.
So if I asked you to marry,
but let me say this. So if you're coming from after messing up a lot,
yeah,
as he did,
yeah, that's true.
Then it's kind of you don't know, you know what I mean? Because women sometimes can see through this is the last ditch effort. This is me trying to keep you at all costs, and they won't do it if they feel that it's not sincere and you're just doing it just to do it. Well, she been asking you for a long time. You ain't want to do it. And she ready to leave, and then now you do it. You could get a no.
Well, I think that's the way she was with
and I feel that's how she felt.
Yeah, definitely.
But
because he took her through a lot.
He did. Do you think that she made out better not marrying him?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, I follow her a lot, and a lot of people don't put their personal business out there, like relationship wise, and I get it, and it makes sense. So from what I've seen, she doesn't have anybody. Doesn't mean that because we don't see it, it's not true.
Yeah.
So she could be with some guy that's treating her really good right about now, but
we'll never know.
We don't know. Well, we will know, but just not right. We don't know about it right now.
Yeah.
Which is probably smart.
It's smart that we don't know.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Did you know that him and Sin were supposed to get married? Now they're not.
They broke up. They broke up. So that goes back to what I call the Monique theory.
Oh no.
The Monique theory. I often talk about the Monique theory. Monique syndrome is when you don't get along with anybody. Nobody. Right? All Joe Budden's relationships perish. They die a slow and ugly death. All of the relationships. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think the relationship with his oldest child and the mother is good. The relationship with Sin is not good.
No.
The relationship with Tahiri is not good. And here's the thing about Joe Budden. I have to give the devil his due. He's had a lot of bad girls, women, nice ones. But the common denominator has always been Joe Budden. Got an attitude that's a bit strange. He had a run-in one time with Wu-Tang. Did you know that?
Joe Budden?
Yes.
All of Wu-Tang. It's not Wu-Tang is not just one person. You said Wu-Tang as a collective.
Well,
all of them?
Okay, so let me rephrase that. Okay. So he had a run-in with a member of Wu-Tang.
I was like, he a bad man. He took on a whole day.
A member of Wu-Tang. More specifically, it was Raekwon. Okay. Raekwon. One of the hottest urban names of the 90s was Raekwon. So there's a whole lot of Raekwons running around because their moms were leftover Wu-Tang bitches. Okay.
My God. What? Oh my gosh.
But seriously though, so Joe Budden has had some wild moments in his career, right?
Okay.
So this issue that happened with him and Nicki Minaj today on Nicki Minaj's show is not the craziest thing that he's ever done or has happened to him, right? One time there was a girl who was forced to accompany her friend to one of his shows, right?
Wait a minute. Wait, I'm sorry. She was forced to accompany her friend.
A girl, for instance, like you and one of your girlfriends.
Right.
Let's say that you like Joe Budden. Mm-hmm. Your girl doesn't like Joe Budden.
Right.
but you need somebody to go with you to this show.
Right.
So you know, come on, girl.
Right.
And you force her to go to the show. Now, while at the show, your girlfriend tweets repeatedly about how much she did not like it, was bored, and did not want to be there.
Now this is the girlfriend. Oh, so this is the girlfriend who was forced to go.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't do that. You don't. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So
cool.
ironically, Joe Budden got her kicked out of the concert. Security kicked her out of the concert.
How did they find her?
He knew who she was. Yeah, he knew who she was.
So he knew the girl.
Yeah.
And
he knew who she was.
But how did he know where she was sitting?
Well, it goes to show you that Joe Budden concert is not that crowded.
Oh,
okay.
If it was that many people in there, how are you going to even find this person in the crowd?
So let's go some other Joe Budden moments. You remember Consequence from Love and Hip Hop New York?
Okay.
They had a fight during the reunion show. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yes. He's always involved in
doing too much.
Yeah. He's always involved in drama. There was one event that and I think that many recording artists have dealt with this, which is being booed off a stage. It was a battle rap arena, and 2014 battle with Hollow the Dawn, which Joe Budden ended up getting totally destroyed in the battle.
All right.
And the crowd booed him repeatedly. And he kept pausing, trying to tell them, stop booing me.
Oh my gosh.
But this just egged them on even more. He ended up dropping the mic and walking off in the middle of the event. And so getting to Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj and Joe Budden, their beef stems way back. Back when she was still with Meek Mill.
So I'm so confused. So they have a beef.
They have a beef.
Still.
Yes. They have a beef. They've had a beef. They have a beef. Okay. And it goes back to, like I said, when Meek and Nicki were still dating. If you remember they were in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
So Joe Budden gave unsolicited opinions on Meek and Nicki's relationship. And the couple clapped back at him, both of them, right? Mm-hmm. It was interesting. It was funny and all that. So Nicki, of course, said he was jealous the such. And Meek told Joe Budden, you don't rap well enough to go this route with me.
Ooh, okay.
Meek Mill said that about Joe Budden. He's had issues with Drake, although it was a one-sided thing with Drake, because Drake didn't even bother responding.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. Drake don't have time for that nonsense. He just wanted to help himself stay relevant by doing that. I love Drake. Take the high road. Yes. But
that leads us to today's issue. So today, as I said, Nicki Minaj had this show that is supposed to be a monumental show for her. It's celebrating an anniversary of her radio show, celebrating the anniversary of her, album called Queen, which is, her show is named after. She's always entertaining. Nicki Minaj, I'm talking about. I mean, considering that she is the
so you watch her show.
Best female rapper. I do. Okay. I watch the show.
Of course you do.
Yeah. So this is episode 15 of her show.
Okay.
And so she teased that she had a big show coming up. Her last show was in July. Like I said, it's roughly about once a month that she rolls these things out. So, of course, we listened to it earlier, which is the Hot Girl Summer with Meg Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, and Ty Dolla $ign, right?
Right.
Hot song. Do you like the song?
No, I did. I mean,
you like the song? It grew on you?
Yeah, a little bit.
You thought you wanted to be more.
I
you wanted
did.
to be more hype
I did, but somebody reminded me it was a grown and sexy.
It's a grown
song.
and sexy song.
So I had
it's
to,
not. It's not a city girl summer song.
I had to put my grown and sexy.
Yes, it's grown and sexy. It's grown and sexy.
And see if it what it was, and it's cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So initially, she thought or that Meg Thee Stallion was going to be part of her show. She was not. But she announced. I mean, she's probably scheduling. Probably, okay. You know what I mean. It happens. Right. She took some phone calls from fans, and she let listeners know that she had a special guest that was going to be joining her on this show. Now, she then proceeded to call out some trolls on Instagram that was commenting on her IG before she turned her comments off altogether.
Wow. Okay.
And she told one fan, "You look ugly even with a filter." Oh. Yes, she's definitely one who claps at fans.
No, don't big up that. That gets no applause.
How?
Because what was this person
Here's my
saying?
issue.
Was this person saying
Here's my
something
issue.
derogatory towards her?
People come in people's comment sections and say stuff. I clap at people all the time.
Okay.
All the time. And Nicki gets a lot of hate. And so they deserve it when they talking all that.
Yeah, if they talking, okay. I agree.
So anyway, after she played the Baby's Suge, a remix of the Baby's Suge, she invited Joe Budden onto her show along with the rest of his podcast team.
Okay.
Right?
Still with a beef with Joe Budden.
Yeah. So Nicki said that Joe was there to make peace with the Barbs. You know who the Barbs are, right?
Her fans.
Mm-hmm. The Barbs.
Right.
Joe Budden joked that you can control them to do either evil or good. Just joking around. And Nicki said he really just said, "I used the Barbs for evil. I just like to let them know when they're doing the most." All right. And so, like I said, the banter went back and forth between the two. Nicki Minaj is more than capable of handling herself when stuff happens.
Right.
She's not one that's going to sit by there and just, take unnecessary abuse.
Right. She shouldn't have to.
So, the issue most recently is Joe Budden is the type of person, and media people, I think that there are lines. There are lines that you shouldn't cross. There are things that you shouldn't say. And, but I also subscribe to this. Usually, one crackhead can spot another crackhead, right? Usually. One gay person can usually spot another gay person. Usually, right? I've seen that. I've seen people point out, point that one out. This one, I've seen them do that. And so Joe Budden has a very storied history of drug use.
He does.
Okay, so he's trying to come at, but just because he does, everything that he calls out is not necessarily true. Because we got to keep in mind he's a drug user, and drug users tend to lie.
Oh my God.
So just because Joe,
he's still using drugs like now?
I say I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. But anyway, going back to something that we've said earlier this evening, Joe Budden tried to claim that there was, we talked about it when it happened, there was a live IG session with Nicki and Meg Thee Stallion. Okay? Mm-hmm. He says that it was planned. You remember we were talking about people that were writing and stuff like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He said it was planned, and he didn't think that it was authentic. The song that they did together, he feels like it was reaching, and that he's trying to say what a lot of people are saying about her kind of jumping on her wave, and it's just you're not real friends, that kind of thing, right? Now, I got a problem with that because you are a guest on this show.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I don't think he made that clear. He's saying this on Nicki's show.
He said this on her show today.
Oh, my gosh. To Nicki.
To Nicki.
Oh, wow.
you're a guest on the show, right? And when you're a guest on somebody's show, you could talk to me. You could talk stuff on other people on your show, right? About other people, but don't go to somebody's show and talk trash about them, right? If this was Wu-Tang show, he wouldn't have said none of that stuff. If this was the Meek Mill show, right? If it was Meek Mill radio, he wouldn't have said none of that stuff. I don't care if it was Drake's show, if it was OVO radio, he wouldn't have said none of that stuff to Drake. But because Nicki Minaj is a female, he felt empowered enough to say it because he has a history of abusing women.
That's true.
Now, let me go back and say this again. If it was Meek Mill radio, he would have kept his mouth shut. He wouldn't have said none of that fly stuff that he was saying. OVO radio, if it was Drake's show, he wouldn't have said nothing. If it was Lil Weezy radio, he wouldn't have said nothing. If it was Cash Money radio and Birdman was sitting there, he wouldn't have said nothing. One thing that I would say about Charlamagne, and a lot of times he frustrates me, but he does call people out in their face on his show. But I don't see him going to somebody else's show and being disrespectful. You know what I mean? You can do your thing on your own show, but there's a lot. There's no line. Is it me? Am I crazy?
So who do they say who set this up? Like, was it like Nicki's people? Was it Joe Budden's people?
Well, I think that may come out in the aftermath. I mean, I think on paper it was a good idea because Nicki last year she's had a long-standing issue with Funk Flex. And her and Funk Flex did a show and buried the hatchet around the time when she dropped Queen Radio. Around the time she dropped the Queen album, I mean. And they chopped it up and they were cool, and they've had a lot of back and forth over the years.
But from what I mean, the little bit I do know about Funk Flex, I don't recall that he's an asshole on a regular basis.
No, he's a Leo. Okay. So his birthday is right around when mine is. I think his might be the 12th. And so he's extra. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's extra.
Especially if his feathers are ruffled, just like me.
Okay.
So I can understand. I like Funk Flex a lot.
Yeah.
One of my favorite DJs. But they had their sit down and it was cool, right? They were supposed to be having a sit down to squash things.
Right.
But I think that Joe said what he needed to say to get in front of her to create a viral moment.
Oh, absolutely. You know,
he knew what he was going to say before he got there.
He definitely used her, and that's not cool.
Yeah.
That is so not cool. Now, this is one time I'm riding for Nicki. Nicki, you roast his ass.
Yeah.
You get him. What did she say?
So, well, let's go. So she, like I said, the debate started more so about the Meg Thee Stallion collaboration. And Nicki said that she went on live to discuss the Megatron winners. You remember she was having a Megatron challenge. If you remember, she had that going on for a few. And she was on there to discuss that. And while she was on there, she saw a lot of people telling her to go on with Meg. You know, going live with her.
Right.
Okay. And she basically hinted at the fact that she wanted me on the song. When we got off the live, I spoke with her team. You know, she kind of goes into that. And so they set it up. She said that she loved the song when she first heard it, so it all came together really quickly after the IG live session. Nicki then accused Joe Budden of calling her a liar, with him saying that he doubted her because the video was turned around quickly. And he said that he believes her now, but she's still trying to get to the bottom of what he said. And Joe Budden said that he thinks that the music industry is calculated, which it is. And I think that Joe Budden coming on this show was calculated.
Oh, definitely.
It was calculated.
Mm-hmm.
But he said that it was not a personal attack on her. Said it was not a personal attack on Nicki Minaj. But I'm sure to Nicki, it felt personal.
Because it was personal. What is he talking about?
Yeah.
You said that, he accused her of being on drugs?
Well, we'll get to that. So after that situation, if you remember Motorsport, when that song came out, remember the Motorsport song, and which Cardi B was on, Joe Budden brought that up. He had a lot to say about that when that was going as well. And he accused Nicki of lying about knowing Cardi was on the song before it came out. And so she said, "You really think people could put out a song and I don't know who's on it?" She asked. This is Nicki Minaj. Eventually, she got heated enough to cut him off with the song and just kind of went to play a song. It was like, shut the fuck up and play the song. Okay? She then cut the song off and she played an interview of him when he was on Everyday Struggle, talking about the, whole motorsport controversy. From then, it just went back and forth. It got out of control, yelling and screaming. And she said, this Nicki Minaj said that you like tearing down women when they can't defend themselves. Okay. And she also said, well, it was a lot of people, they laughed at that point. And she said, "Thank you for being here, by the way. Don't call me fam. That's how I know you're mad. Fuck out of here, fam." Under his voice, Joe Budden replied, "This is why I don't do this. Y'all live in some sort of, y'all live in some sort of bubble." Okay. So he accused her of living in a bubble, which she may live in a bubble. Beyonce probably lives in a bubble. A lot of people live in a bubble. But I don't know. I got a lot of issues with this, but let's continue. When the topic of her new album came up, Nicki teased that she had some huge executive producer on it. "You know what, Joe? I didn't know how childish you were until today," Nicki said, yelling over him. You couldn't even hear what he was saying. And Nicki got really upset when Joe Budden mentioned drugs. And Joe Budden said this. He said, "Don't say you ain't never pop a pill." And then she then called him dumb as fuck. He's so used to thinking he's the smartest person in the room. "I just want ownership. If you said something," she said, after she pulled up things that he said that he refuted. So he said he didn't say things. She pulled up tape of him actually saying the things. And then she cut off his microphone, at which point it's suspected that he left. His co-host stuck around and said they wanted to try again, which she said will not happen. "Even now, I have no issue with Joe," she said, "but people have to take ownership, especially when they're part of this culture." So, okay. So what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, like we said previously, he had came on there with a different agenda than everyone else. And I mean, it serves its purpose because what are we doing right now? We're talking about Joe Budden and him being on Nicki's show. And the shine is taken off of, the accomplishment of her making it to the 15th show. And now we're talking about Joe Budden and his nonsense.
All right.
So, I mean, he accomplished what he wanted to.
Yeah.
Because he's the type that any publicity is good publicity. Because he's had so much bad publicity. He has to be able to make, was it lemonade out of lemons or whatever it is?
Yeah, he has a lot of bad publicity. That's true. He does have a show, and I'm sure that when he does his show later on this week, he's going to talk about this, of course, and that's fine.
It gives him content.
Trina recently did a song with Nicki, and people from her label called out Nicki on IG, saying that she didn't do enough she's not doing enough to support the song, which is called Baps. She also accused the media of pitting women against each other in an attempt to ruin her career. This is Nicki talking. All the people who went out of their way to hurt me, I hope you pray and repent. And she addressed it. She said, right now, Trina's camp is accusing me of not doing enough to push her song, Baps. I have my own schedule. I also have to worry about what makes not only sense, but sense in dollars. But it's not fair that people don't understand that. I would never have someone from my team disrespect somebody that has nothing but been real to me, Nicki said about that situation. So, okay. All right. And so she said that was early today. Whoever from your team that got something to say, if they're a man, tell them to address it with my husband. Enough. It's getting corny at this point. And,
wait, she said her husband.
Well, that's what she said. Yeah, because they're going to be married shortly. They do have a marriage license, and she said that they're going to be married in about 80 days. Of course, when you get the marriage license, you got 90 days to get that thing done. She's working on an album right now, so it's going to happen.
Okay.
So what do you think about her pushing the song with Trina? Do you think that it's up to her to help push the song?
Yeah, she should definitely play an active part in that. Because my thing is, so here you are, you have 2 singles out with 2 different people, right?
Right.
So that same push that you're giving the one, what is her name? Meg Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
You should give that same push with the song that you have with Trina. You can't. I mean, she's talking about what makes sense. Sometimes you don't always go with what makes sense. You have to go what sometimes is right. You know, It's not all about the dollars and cents, and you and I talk about this all the time. It's also about the relationship. And she's been in this game long enough to know that it's not just about dollars and cents. She's not poor. Really, Nicki? You are not. So sometimes it's about the relationship. So that's what people don't like. See, that's what the problem is. When you say things like that, people look at you differently because it's not about the dollars and cents.
Well, I see, I understand both perspectives of this. So, Nicki, it is about that. This is a business at the end of the day. So you're getting a feature from somebody. It's Trina's song. Okay, it's not Nicki's song. It's Trina's song, and because it's Trina's song, Trina may feel like, okay, I put Nicki on a song, she should push it as well. But it's your song, okay? So nobody needs to push it more than you. You know what I mean? And she may have said, I put her on the song because I wanted her to push it. If I didn't think she was going to push it, then I wouldn't have put her on the song. And that may be true.
That makes sense. You talk about dollars and cents.
No, I get it.
But you know what, though? Trina, okay, so I don't know if this conversation was had, but it should have been. Like what?
This should have happened before.
That's what I'm saying.
So let me know expectations. And if expectations was so much, Nicki might have said, "Oh no, I can't do that."
Right, because my expectation is no. I'm not saying that you push it as much as me. However, there are going to be some appearances and things that I would like you to do to help me push this album and this single. And if you can't do that, then how is this going to benefit me? Or if you can't do this, then Trina goes in with the understanding of, hey, this is where she's at with it, and I'm gonna push forward anyway. And whoever in her camp don't agree need to shut up, because we have an agreement. I already knew where she was gonna be with this,
right?
But I decided to move forward, and her and I good. We straight,
right. So yeah,
it's all about the communication.
That's true. Communication is key. T.S. Madison was also on there. She talked about the marriage license, and they've got the marriage license before and renewed it. So they've renewed it again, and she said that they're not married officially yet, though.
What you mean? So it lasts for 9 years. So why did they keep renewing? So the 90 days keep running out.
They're gonna elope. It wasn't ready yet. She's been,
So the 90 days. This is the third 90 days then.
But they've renewed it before. So
right, that's what I said. This is the third set of 90 days. They renewed it.
Bridezilla.
No, that means that you're not serious, because it does not take that much. If you want to elope, it does not take that much to do so. It doesn't. How serious are you about getting married? It's not that serious. You can get somebody in your backyard, and I'm quite sure she's a really nice house, or inside your house with a justice of the peace and some close friends and a badass dress, because I'm quite sure she can afford it, and get married. I don't understand. So no,
but she also can do it when she's ready. What do you want?
Well, why go get the marriage license? Just do
It's
that
hard,
when
but
you're
she
ready.
could do it. Why people judging her? She could do what she want to
I'm
do.
not judging her. I think that's ridiculous to have to go through that hassle 3 times.
I got you. So, Juicy J also on there, and Lil Durk, and she said that a remix featuring her on "Welcome to the Party" is going to be by Pop Smoke is going to be coming later in the week. So, very interesting episode. Nicki always manages to stay in the mix. Some people love her, some people hate her, but we cannot deny her talent. Joe Budden, thoroughly disrespectful. We didn't learn anything new. We already knew that Joe Budden was not somebody that respected the rules or the unspoken rules, if there even are rules. But of course, we'll be back tomorrow with more RadioOnFire.com, more of the Diamond K Show. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Of course, I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you, Nicki.
You're welcome.
All right.